The review of the book The Power Law by Sebastian Mallaby. In the last video, I told you about Elon Musk book by Walter Isaacson. Elon Musk is basically an entrepreneur. Success of Elon Musk was possible due to venture capital. The Power Law by Sebastian Mallaby gives you the story of venture capital history in United States. Venture capital is a quite essential American invention, and it got invented in 1950s. Silicon Valley also was created in 19 late 50s. Before that, there was no Silicon Valley. When a transistor got invented by Shockley and his two other colleagues, they got the Nobel Prize and they wanted to commercialize it. So Shockley was a quirky person. He was not a good relations with his other colleagues. So he came to San Francisco where his mother was living, wanted to be close to her. And Stanford University was also close. And he started his company and brought some junior scientists with him, including Robert Noyce. Later on, they rebelled against him and founded their own company, Fairchild. They needed capital, so they somehow contacted through various people and were directed to Arthur Rock. Arthur Rock was working in Wall Street in those days, and there was no concept of venture capital in those days. So Arthur Rock came and they met and they discussed and they formed the first company, Fairchild, and he found an investor and they wrote the agreement. But that agreement was highly skewed in favor of the investor. So later on, Arthur Rock made changes, and when Robert Lois founded Intel, agreements were changed and more share got to the entrepreneur. And now this is the model that rules the Silicon Valley. Entrepreneur is the king, the one who starts the startup, is the one who rules it. And the venture capital, the investor also gets share in the profit, but the launch share now goes to the entrepreneur, just like Mark Zuckerberg, and he got the lion's share. What is power law? Power law is skewed distribution in statistics that is also known as 80-20 rule. Means 80% of the wealth is mostly on average owned by 20% of the people. 80% of the population lives in 20% of the cities. So stuff like that, 80% of the profit comes from about 20% of the work. So this power law is like this, that when you invest in startup, there is no guarantee that that startup is going to succeed. The failure rate is very high. So you invest in 10, 20 plus startups and almost all of them fail, but one, two can do very good. And this power law ensures that the return from the success of one, two startups is huge, that compensates for the losses that you made, uh, those 10, 15, 20 startups, and also make profit as well. So it's a lot of skill is required when you invest as a venture capitalist, because you have to first understand the idea, and then you have to understand the market, and it's not something that materializes in just a few months. It can take years. It can take few years, more than few years. So this book by the Power Law by Sebastian Mallaby is a great read. You should read it. It's a story of how venture capital got invented in America. Story of Sequoia, Kleiner Perkins, SoftBank, and how these companies then invested in China, Alibaba, Tencent, and all this tech thing gets developed in the United States. Venture capital is the bedrock of the Silicon Valley. This is the foundation of Silicon Valley. Entrepreneurs have the ideas, but you have to have capital to implement that idea. So venture capital provides that bridge to the entrepreneur and connects the entrepreneur with the capital. This is the story, and you'll read story of Cisco in this book, story of Apple, story of Facebook, story of SoftBank, and all just threw money, so much money on companies, and just it was astonishing. And you'll also read the interesting story of Apple when a person came from United Kingdom and he sat in the office and he wanted shares in the he wanted to invest in the Apple company, and they said it's all full now. We can't give you any share in the investment. So he said, I bought my toothpaste and I'll sit over here 1 day, 2 days, and I will not go as long as give me share in the Apple investment. We got that share and ultimately huge profit, something like 500, $600 billion from that thing. It's a very interesting book. You should read it. And if you have seen my video with Elon Musk's success is also not possible without venture capital. And you should understand this thing. Venture capital is investment is different than stock market investment. Venture capital investment requires a lot of skill, and after means that if you invest in 10, 20 startups, only one, two are going to succeed, rest are going to fail. So you have to cover that loss of the startup that failed with the success. And there are stories in the book. The Sebastian Mallaby, I have read his other books. I have one, two more other books also. And I really like his writing style and his way of narrating the stories. So they're just like in trading. If you sell early, you leave a lot of profit on the table. So this some venture capital firms did commit this mistake, and those that did not commit that mistake made huge fortunes. Now, why United States tech leader? I believe it's due to this venture capital. And these venture capital firms, they are intermediate between the entrepreneur and the investor. So in the rest of the world, in other countries also, people, like in my country, people only invest in real estate. But if they develop this venture capital, so they can also start investing in technology that can solve world's problems. And so this model can be copied all over the world. And I would recommend that you should read this book, The Power Law by Sebastian Mallaby. It's a great read. You will not get bored. If you have interest in technology and you interest in finance and economics, so this stuff will be very interesting for you once you read it. And so I recommend this book.